The death penalty. Well, surprise, surprise, I'm not in favour of it. And the reasons really are quite simple. First off, our justice system requires that people are convicted beyond a reasonable doubt. And this means that to find somebody guilty of a crime, it must be reasonable to assume that they've actually done it. It does not require certainty. And the end result of this is that there have been a great many people who have been tried and convicted and subsequently released later when their convictions have been found to be either in error or considered unsafe. And the reason that we say reasonable doubt is because in reality there is no way that you can be 100% certain about anything. Even if you actually saw somebody committing a crime with your own eyes, you cannot guarantee that the person who is standing trial in the dock is the same person that you saw committing that crime, or indeed that a crime was being committed in the first place and you were just placing your own interpretation on what had happened. And there are other factors as well, like race and gender and sexual orientation and political inclinations and religious belief that may well prevent a person from getting a fair trial. One example of this is that the number of black males on death row in US prisons is way out of proportion to the number of black males in US society as a whole. And to me, that suggests that there may well be something else at work here rather than just justice. Anyway, beyond reasonable doubt does not mean no doubt at all, and it does not mean absolute certainty. And when you're looking at ending another human being's life as a means of punishing them, then surely that must require a very high degree, an extremely high degree of certainty that is either close to or equal to 100%. Because unlike a jail sentence, it's irreversible, and there's no compensation that can be given by the government towards making good on a miscarriage of justice. Secondly, from a moral point of view, should our justice system be about rehabilitation and protecting society from dangerous elements, or should it be about revenge? Does killing a person who's guilty of murder really make any reparation at all? Does it bring the murdered people back to life? Does it put the Twin Towers back up into the New York skyline? Does it do anything, in fact, other than appeal to the most base desire for revenge and inflicting pain and injury back on the people who've hurt us? And as for the economic argument against keeping lifers in prison, do we really value human life so little that we would put monetary considerations ahead of it in this way? And if we do, then how are we really any different or any better from the people who we've already judged as valuing human life so little that society needs to be protected from them? And I think that we have to consider whether or not we believe that murder is wrong. And I'm not talking about killing in self-defense or by accident, but purposeful, planned, premeditated murder. Now, if we're unwilling to accept that kind of behaviour from an individual, then we shouldn't accept that kind of behaviour from the state, not least because the state is quite often held to be less accountable for its actions than any individual. So if we accept that our state can murder people on our behalf with our blessing, then we not only have to share the responsibility for the deaths of all of those human beings who we've identified as being guilty of their crimes, but also the deaths of those who are not guilty and are executed by mistake.